We all have a plateau, that familiar place where life feels predictable and safe. But what happens when that trusted ground begins to shift? They say the edge is dangerous, yet for the ancestral Pueblo people here, the edge became the only real sanctuary. It makes me wonder, are we looking for safety in the wrong places? Okay, I'm probably not going to capture this at the exact time I wanted to because I've been driving on County Road G, first through reservation land, and now I believe this is private property, but this road runs along McElmo Creek, and it's just so beautiful here. There's ranching, farming, all these cottonwoods and things growing up along the creek, and then canyon walls. It's just a really nice drive. The road from Hovenweep to Sand Canyon pulls you through a living landscape, following the green curve of McElmo Creek as it winds along the edge of the Navajo Nation. Seeing those giant cottonwoods and small blue-tinged fields tucked against those same ancient sandstone cliffs is eye-opening. There's a rawness here, a beauty that doesn't try to hide its scars. The Canyon of the Ancients. Sand Canyon. Sand Canyon is part of the vast Canyons of the Ancients National Monument. It's 176,000 acres of the highest density of archaeological sites in the U.S. To the north in Dolores, sites like the Dominguez and Escalante Pueblos sit open and sun-drenched on the hills. They represent the before, a time of expansive valley view living. But the true density of this place doesn't hit you until you're on the ground. Look at these rock formations. You don't have to look for history here. It's immersive. It's easy to get lost in the scale of it all. But this area feels quiet and intimate. I had the whole place to myself, just me and the ancients. As I began my hike, a collared lizard led me straight to an ancient home I walked right into. Remains of the Castle Rock Pueblo. So cool, you can just hike right to these. It was surreal standing there, and at that moment, it dawned on me. This wasn't one dramatic leap by a single village. It was a massive movement. Yeah, let's see the other side. I moved deeper down the Sand Canyon Trail, enjoying the bird calls and a gentle high desert breeze. This trail is just beautiful. Around a bend, I was surprised by the Saddlehorn Pueblo. tucked into an alcove of a rock that looks remarkably like a saddlehorn. From this quiet shelter, I could just glimpse the silhouette of Castle Rock. It was once known as Battle Rock, and the archaeological evidence of a conflict there is a stark reminder of another aspect of history here. On my way back, I spotted two ravens perched on Castle Rock. I recorded their conversation, feeling as if they were holding the old stories of how this place shifted. But that history, like life, isn't static. To feel the full weight of that ancient migration, I left the canyon floor behind and began the climb toward Mesa Verde. The sculptures at the visitor center really intrigued me. A woman in quiet reflection, a man climbing with a heavy pack on his back. They reminded me that this wasn't just a change in where they lived, it was a change in how they lived. Then came the tunnel. Darkness, then sudden light as the road hugged the mesa's edge. Because for hundreds of years, starting around AD 550, the ancestral Puebloans lived in simple pit houses dug in the mesa tops. Over time, the villages grew. By the late 1190s, right at the turn of a new century, many of them did the thing that seemed inconceivable. They stepped over that edge. From Hovenweep and far beyond, families began moving their lives into the sheltering curves of the cliffs and canyons, still farming the open plateaus above. They used retractable ladders along with hidden handholds and doorways. And kept walking up every day to tend their corn. But now they slept, cooked, and raised their children tucked inside the cool rock. From tiny granaries to great villages like Cliff Palace, Balcony House, Spruce Tree House, Square Tower House, Step House, and many others. They built them all in the shadows of the cliffs. This complete and drastic remake of their living situation still amazes me. Some moves we choose, others are forced upon us when the old ground no longer holds. In accepting the change, whether chosen or compelled, they found that life could finally deepen there. And for them and for their descendants, movement is a part of life. Some people still call these places ruins, but for the descendants whose ancestors built them, they are living homes. That stone still speaks, and it spoke to me. I see their story in my own. I stay on my plateau because I tell myself it's safe. I've worked the soil. I know the landmarks. I've made my peace with the horizon. But change comes anyway, sometimes invited, sometimes forced upon us. And eventually, I have to ask myself the hard questions. Was it ever really safe? Or did I just call it safety because the alternative scared me too much? Can I meet the change with acceptance and then decide to move? Because making that move, stepping off the edge, facing the drop and every limitation I carry, isn't really about finding a new home. It's about breaking ground inside myself. Turns out the edge wasn't where life ended. It was where everything that came before exhaled, and life could finally take a deeper breath. But even the cliffs weren't forever. By the mid-1200s, the people were already moving south. By 1300, almost everyone had gone. The cycle repeated. Safety shattered again. Nature's lesson wasn't find the perfect shelter. It was learn to let go when the shelter itself becomes the new illusion. And trust that acceptance can open a deeper reality than we ever planned. The path doesn't end at the plateau. Next time we head deeper into the Grand Circle, from the silent great houses of Chaco Canyon to the echoing cathedrals of the Mighty Five. We're looking for what remains when everything else falls away. Join me when heart and soul meet in the Red Rock. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.